All right, it's 1:30. I'd like to call the meeting of the Traffic and Transportation Commission for February 19, 2024 to order. We'll go ahead and do roll call. Commissioner Varnell.
Here.
Commissioner Littlefield.
Present.
Commissioner Long.
Present.
Commissioner Hale.
Here, sir.
Commissioner Schuline. Go to Commissioner Wynn.
Here.
Commissioner George.
Here.
And Commissioner Cornett.
Here.
Okay, we go to approval of the Traffic and Transportation Commission meeting for January 19, 2024. Do we have a motion concerning this?
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner George. Do we have a second?
Second, Varnell.
Second by Varnell. Do we have any talk about the meeting minutes? Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes from Commissioner George, seconded by Commissioner Varnell, and we're ready for our votes. Item has approved, 7 in favor with 2 abstain. All right. We go to reports from Traffic Services Division and the Counselor's Office. So, Mr. Chow.
All right, you've got our standard reports before you. We'll just touch on a couple things really quickly. On the first report for commission-approved traffic signals for public funding, since the last report we had given you, we've learned that there are several of the projects, the ones that are highlighted in yellow at Walker in California, Lone Oak Drive in Northwest 150th Street, May Avenue in Northwest 192nd Street, and then Danforth Farms, Dartmoor Boulevard in Northwest 192nd Street. Those projects have moved to our contract administration staff who are currently negotiating contracts, design contracts for those 4 traffic signals. Under the monthly summary we provide you for the alternative speed abatement program, we've got 2 more speed cushions which are due to be installed tomorrow on Southwest 15th Street between Douglas Avenue and South McKinley Avenue. We've got 2 more that are on order, and then we've got a pair of driver speed feedback signs that are also on order. So as of the writing of this report, we are a little bit more than halfway spent through on the initial $50,000 allocation from the City Council for matching funds for speed abatement features. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have on the report.
All right, anybody got anything? I've asked the staff to go out and take some photos, and maybe next month, just show us some photos of some of the places and how it's set up, so we can get a visual. Okay, anything else for the staff? Okay, Counselor's Office, ma'am, do you have anything? Nothing from the Counselor's Office, okay. All right, we go on now to item 4. There are no items on the consent docket. And now we'll go ahead and go to item 5A. It seems that we're having a problem getting things up on the screen. There it is, okay. No, we're not. All right, so there's 5A, Kyle Merriweather, Whips and Furs Costumes, concerning 45-degree angle parking. Why don't we go ahead and start with staff on this one so you can give a summary of the whole thing, and then we'll ask for any comments.
Okay, well, this item was continued last from the October 16th meeting. That meeting commission voted to defer action on the request for 90 days, which is why it's being heard this month. You've got our comments before you. There are a myriad of reports and studies that have been done relative to reverse angle parking compliance. And the most recent one is at the end of the agenda item where we received a memo from the planning director. And I don't know, is there anyone from planning staff that's here to discuss that the most recent memo we've received? But other than that, action on the item is going to be at the commission's discretion.
All right, thank you, staff. We'll go ahead and start with Planning Department. You can give a summary and an update of everything.
Sure. Justin Henry with the Oklahoma City Planning Department. I think there's a lot of information included in your report. Something I just wanted to specifically highlight is we were able to get some additional collision data with our help of Captain Fredrickson, and included some notes there about how since the street enhancement was completed, we've seen a pretty dramatic decrease in the amount of accidents. Full disclosure, we don't think that's all due to the reverse angle parking. We think a lot of that's to do with narrowing the street and kind of expanding the curb lines and stuff. But just wanted to kind of note that. I believe some representatives from the district are here today, and excited for you to hear from them as well. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Okay, so comments from out there? I know somebody's signed up to talk. Sir? If I could have your name and address, and you'll have up to 5 minutes.
My name is Joe Coffin. I live at 530 Northwest 27th Street. I'm the Vice President of the 39th Street District Board. I believe you received a letter from me recently explaining our position on this issue, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Okay, is anybody else wanting to speak on this item? Okay, and we already have staff input, so we're ready for a motion concerning item 5A.
I move to deny the application.
We have a motion to deny 5A from Commissioner Littlefield. Do we have a second?
I'd like to second.
We have a second by Commissioner Cornett. Okay, do we have any talk about this? Mr. Littlefield?
I just think it's a good lesson that when enough time is given to study something that's new, a consensus can be made. And I think it's great that the district has experienced this for a longer period of time, given it more thought, more observation, and recognize that it's a benefit. And the supporting information from staff, the new information regarding how it impacts safety is important. So that's my view.
Okay, anybody else want to speak on item 5A?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I guess something quickly. I'm not sure how the reverse parking makes things safer, especially when over 50% of the parking is parked across the street head in. Every time I go by there, that area, at least half the cars are not backed in. They pull across the street head in. So they're on the wrong side of the street. So now when they're backing out, they're backing across 2 lanes of traffic. And it just, it just does not seem like it would be safer at all, the way things are going. I did wonder, is it illegal to park that way? I mean, can you ticket people for pulling in head first in a parking spot or not?
Sir, we asked that one previously, prior to the captain, and it was said that is not a thing. It's parking is parking, whether you're back in, front end. There is no city ordinance to go against front end parking, rear end parking, et cetera.
what
The
I
only
figured.
thing I mentioned was, to me, it's a violation if you cross the double yellow line to do it, because you're not supposed to cross the double yellow line. But unless they're sitting there seeing them do it and it creates a traffic hazard, there's nothing that can be done on that. And as far as safety-wise, what was mentioned years ago when this was all first came out was, if it's done correctly, when a driver gets in his car to leave and they're facing out and they can look straight left and they can see the bike lane, which is, bikes to go in front of the cars there, it's safer than trying to, because there's that blind spot when you turn to the right to try to back out. So when it's done correctly, as it was briefed and
Which
as it
is
was
almost
hoped.
never.
That's
the issue.
that's what we're seeing, but we're hoping as it becomes more in use in the city and in other cities when people travel, because this, that was mentioned that we have people that come into the city and go into that area. As they see it in other cities, hopefully everybody will start to figure out that's something good, like the traffic circles and everything else that's coming around. Am I right on this, Captain?
I believe you're right, considering the sighting of someone who's in that parking, whether it's illegal to back in or it's illegal to nose into a reverse angle parking. I don't know of a violation that you could write that parking ticket for.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not saying anything that would allow us to ticket somebody. It's just called angle parking. It doesn't distinguish between whether it's head first or reverse. So, yeah. technically they probably are in violation if they're going over to yellow lines, but that happens so frequently everywhere that I'm not sure the police even ticket for that. So.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, yes, sir.
So we got support from the business district, which definitely appreciate that. And that was in lieu of a full-on new survey of the area. So I think that basically makes the case that the business district as a whole is supportive of keeping the reverse angle parking. I think that makes a lot of sense. There were some requests in that letter as well. And can we talk about those requests and the city response to those?
You have to give me just a second. I've got to pull my papers on it. Or were there particular questions that you had, or do you want to go through these point by point for both letters?
To me personally, I think it would actually be beneficial to go through them point by point.
All right.
And the city's response.
Okay. I do not have a copy of the full letter, but I do have an email that was sent to members of the commission with itemized responses. We have 6 items that were requested by the Rainbow Bistro and 3 that came in from the 39th Street District Board. I'll go ahead and start with the district board since it's a shorter list. One of the things the first thing that was addressed, they were wanting the addition of solar lighted LED enhanced stop signs on Northwest 39th Street at Barnes. Now, the city doesn't have a policy regarding the use of an LED enhanced stop sign, so in this particular case, if the district was to purchase 30-inch LED enhanced stop signs meeting MUTCD requirements, or the Traffic Services Division can install them. Lighting, the second point on the 39th Street District was lighting the back-end parking directional signs. In this particular case, the district could purchase additional lighting for this purpose and have it installed under an administrative revocable permit. This is just to illuminate the front of the signs. Signs already have reflective sheeting, so additional lighting is not a requirement for them, but we would allow that to be done under a revocable permit. And then finally, they had painting the street in a few places to say back-in parking only. Again, the district could purchase preformed thermoplastic words meeting MUTCD requirements, and the city would install them for them. The Rainbow Bistro had 6 requests. First one, again, was for the LED enhanced stop sign, as before for the 39th Street District. If purchased, the Traffic Services Division could install them. The second item they had was to install speed humps or speed tables on Northwest 39th Street. The Alternative Speed Abatement Program allows for speed humps or speed cushions to be used on roadways classified as neighborhood streets, connectors, and industrial streets. Northwest 39th Street is classified as a main street, which is presently not one of the allowable street typologies. Additionally, the problem with using speed cushions on Northwest 39th Street is there are essentially no locations where they could be placed because they would be behind parking places. And under our speed abatement program, speed cushions cannot be placed in front of driveways. So placing a speed cushion behind an angled parking space would be functionally no different from that. The third item on the Rainbow Bistro request was for stencils to mark reverse angle parking only. And this would be a stencil that would be applied, or paint markings that would be applied to the curb faces or parking stops at each one of the individual stalls. The Traffic Services Division's got a 6-person crew which handles pavement marking citywide. So to do a task like that is something that's beyond basically our capability. Now, if the district or the Rainbow Bistro or someone wanted to file for an administrative revocable permit to go ahead and undertake painting on the curb faces, that's something that could be approved. Their fourth point was paint reverse angle parking zone on the street. That's kind of like the same item that the district had requested. If they were to provide MUTCD compliant thermoplastic pavement messages, preformed thermoplastic pavement messages, our division could install And then the last item they had was short use of electronic reader boards, and this would just basically be to highlight the fact that there is reverse angle parking. At this point in time, our division we've got, I think we're down to about 2 functional message boards for use across the entire city. We've got some more that are in the process of being purchased, but that is all we have. If the district feels, or the bistro feels strongly enough, there are traffic control companies where these things can be rented, and so they could have them out and displayed for as long as they wanted. That's a point-by-point.
There was also
breakdown.
wasn't there pavement humps in the center line? Was that something I read?
I missed that one, yep. Install centerline reflectors to improve visibility of centerline. Again, those things, if purchased, the city could install those, but we'd only be talking about raised pavement markers, not like a delineator post or something like that, which would be too tall for purposes like that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Just to help a little bit to put those measures and the list, the existence of the list in context, is there were some meetings during this period of the continuance where the district wanted to know the feasibility of more things that they could consider to install in there to help make it work better. So we looked at a lot of different things, and these are reasonable. There's even more on that list. But it's let's wait and see how this goes over time, and if there's measures that they're interested in adding to it that they think could make it more effective, then that's great. So that is the purpose for the list of ideas. It depends on the time of day you go through there to see the compliance. I trade at that 39th Street Lowe's all the time. I bet I'm there once a day. And there are times I go through there, and so there's an event going on during the day, and everybody is parked absolutely compliant. And it tends to be more difficult at nighttime. And I think that's because of the signage is more difficult to see. People are in a bigger hurry. But the objective with retaining the reverse angle parking at 39th Street is to learn what it is that we need to implement going forward as this is implemented in more areas of town. That's my support here.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, and to that point, if these extra measures are something that we would include into a future streetscape that was implementing the reverse angle parking, why would we not then consider maybe these extra measures as a continuation of the existing streetscape and the city fund those inclusions?
All right, planning.
Sure. Just to speak to that point, that's a very good point. And we have not actually fully closed out the original project, specifically because we thought we might have to do some of these traffic calming measures. So we do think that as part of that unfinished project, we do think we can go back and help with support some of those requested elements to have the cost element to them. Thank you.
All right, very good. Yes, sir.
I've got a question. It seems to me, I mean, I may be making this way too simple. If our intent is for the citizens to use the reverse angle parking, what would be the harm in putting delineator posts in the middle of the street?
Well, it would prohibit being able to, it would basically functionally make 39th Street operate as like a one-way street in each direction because you'd have a physical barrier. And I believe that there are also events that are run on 39th Street that basically span the roadway.
Okay.
And they'd be an impediment to those.
Could we look at something like an armadillo or something that's not as high profile, but somebody could drive over if they needed to?
Well, the armadillos that you're talking about they're kind of like a low, almost like a low parabolic curb, and they're about a foot and a half long. Several of those were used at the intersection of Main and Western as part of a bicycle project, and I don't believe they survived their first month.
Yeah.
So they're not a durable solution.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments on 5A? All right, we have a motion to disapprove item 5A from Commissioner Littlefield, second by Commissioner Cornett, and we're ready for our votes. item, the motion has passed to disapprove 5A. Would all in favor? Okay, we go on now to item 5B, Abby Wilmon, Always Stock Control at South Gregory Road and Southwest 115th Street. You have anybody here to speak on this item? All right, staff input?
Okay. All right, you've got our comments before you. If you look at on the very first page in the traffic volume section, you can see that this is an exceptionally low volume intersection. Our daily traffic count on Gregory Road is 100 vehicles per day, and it's about 352 on Southwest 15th Street. The intersection itself will not meet any criteria for considering the use of always stop control. One thing that when we did run this analysis, the one thing that we did it under was the new version of the MUTCD, which became effective on January 18th of this year. And there are a number of changes in the MUTCD with respect to the use of always stop controls and stop controls in general. One of the things that the applicant had requested the traffic control for was as a means of speed control. And although that's not really part of today's consideration, there is a change in language in the MUTCD which now specifically says that yield or stop signs shall not be used for speed control, because it also cites that there are appropriate traffic calming or other speed control measures which are now available. And so from the use of stop signs as a speed control measure is essentially prohibited under the manual. Anyway, in this particular case, always stop control at a rural arterial intersection is kind of normal, and it's not unexpected in Oklahoma City, so action on the item will be at the discretion of the commission. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right, can we have a motion concerning 5B?
I'd like to make a motion that we disapprove this particular item.
Okay, we have a motion to disapprove item 5B from Commissioner Long. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Varnell. Okay, talk on this item? Mr. Long?
I drove out here, lived out there for quite a while, not quite that far out. But there's not a lot of traffic volume out there. Stop signs are not used as a speed control device. And this is so far out that there's not any foreseeable future here in the next 10 to 20 years where you're going to have a significant amount of traffic volume out in that area. And so I just don't see the need for at this particular point in time.
All right, any other comments on item 5B? I do want the staff to be aware that that Commissioner Cornett has left Horseshoe, so she's no longer available. Okay, no more talk on the item. We have a motion to disapprove item 5B from Commissioner Long, seconded by Commissioner Varnell, and we're ready to vote. And a second. And a second.
I guess there was nobody to talk.
No, there was nobody that wanted to talk on the item. Technology at its finest. Mr. Long, you talked too long and the system locked up on us. Thank you. There it is. See, all right. All right, your votes, please, to disapprove. Okay. The motion has passed to disapprove the item. Would all in favor? Okay. We go on now to item 5C, David Spencer, traffic signal at South Cemetery Road and Southwest 29th Street. Do we have anybody here to speak on this? Sir, if I could have your name and address, and you have up to 5 minutes.
My name is David Spencer. I live at 13320 Southwest 29th in Yukon, Ward 3. The reason this is being brought up, and I put a letter addressed to everybody about the lady that lives on that intersection, the southeast corner of there. They live right there. Their entrance to their house is directly south of that intersection. It's extremely hard for them to get in and out, so you can read her letter. I built a house out there in 2016, and since that time, the population has increased dramatically with all of the housing developments that's been established along 29th Street in between Check Hall Road and Cemetery Road. And also, as you continue on west on 29th, there's a lot of things being built out in that area. And then at the intersection of 15th and Cemetery Road, Tabor Homes is getting ready to build a pretty good sized development right there on the west side of the road. And the increased traffic has caused a lot of issues entering Cemetery Road from 29th Street, from around 7 o'clock in the morning till around 8:30. And then from anywhere from 4 to like 7 o'clock in the evening, it's extremely difficult and dangerous to enter Cemetery Road and also to get off of there. It's difficult also. So I would just ask for consideration for preferably a stoplight in that area to slow the traffic down, because the nearest stop sign south is 2 miles, which would be at 59th and Cemetery. And then you go 2 miles north and there's a stoplight at Reno and Cemetery Road. And the 2 miles each way gives traffic a lot of time to build up additional speed, and they bunch up, and it's very difficult to, and dangerous to be through that area. And there's times where, you might wait 5 to 10 minutes to exit off of 29th to get on Cemetery Road during the peak periods of traffic. The traffic continues to increase all the time, from construction traffic to the occupants in that area that are building houses and moving into developments and things like that. Any questions?
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do they have any type of traffic dissipation device at going down Cemetery, let's go south of I-40 at Cemetery Road? There's something at 10th Street, there's something at Reno.
Yes.
What about Southwest 15th?
No, there's nothing.
There's
There's
nothing
a
there?
stop sign. The 15th has stop signs right there.
Two-way or four-way?
Two-way.
Okay.
Two-way. And then also at 44th, it's just a two-way
Two-way.
coming off of 44th.
So you're next, basically, from Reno, you don't have anything south till you get to 59th Street?
Yes, sir.
So that's 4 mile stretch that's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure. It's been a while since I lived out in that area, and
Yeah,
I completely agree with you 100%. That years ago, well, it hadn't been very long ago, that was the West Side Autobahn all the way from
It's still,
Mustang to I-40 that was 65 miles an hour. And you
it's
better-
still the same way,
Okay.
except with more traffic.
Yes, without a doubt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anybody else wanted to speak? Yes, sir, please. I'm sorry, sir? You can come on up, yes, sir. We'll have you fill out one of these forms after you're done talking, right over there. I need your name and address. You have up to 5 minutes.
I'm Christian Hagan. I currently live on 124th West Mead in Yukon. Wasn't expecting this one to be brought up, but I lived on 29th Street most of my life, and now I'm about to move out to 44th. And I will say that coming off of 29th Street and on to taking a left onto Cemetery Road, it does feel like one of the more dangerous intersections in Yukon, and it can be really hard with the high-speed traffic to find a gap to get on there. And I think that for a long time, I've always wished that there was a traffic stop there before. So that's all I had.
Okay, and sir, if you could fill out the form, please. And if you're going to speak on some other item, you can put both items on there. All right. Okay, anybody else want to speak on item 5C? Okay, staff?
All right, you've got our comments before you. Point out a few things. In the The traffic entering volume that we've recorded for Cemetery Road shows it's running about 10,435 vehicles per day, and the cross-street volume on Southwest 29th Street is running about 1,500 per day. We did use the current version of the MUTCD and ran a signal warrant analysis. Based on the higher speed limit posted on Cemetery Road, we were able to use reduced traffic volumes when conducting our volume-based warrant analyses. And so we found that this particular intersection will meet Warrant 1, which is the 8-hour warrant, and Warrant 2, which is 4-hour warrant, and additionally, it meets the crash experience warrant, which is Warrant 7, for considering use of signalized traffic control. One thing that we have done, and that is currently working in the background, is we're using the Federal Highway Administration's recommended safety countermeasures. And so we are having stop signs replaced on Southwest 29th Street. We're putting in oversized 48-inch stops. We are installing larger advanced stop-ahead warning signs on 29th, in addition to installing advanced intersection warning signs on Cemetery Road. We'll also be marking stop bars on Southwest 29th Street, and we'll be refreshing the pavement markings on all approaches. And we have got a request in with OG&E. There is an existing street light at the intersection, but we're having that one replaced with a higher output fixture. So in summary, the intersection currently meets 3 of the 9 MUTCD signalized traffic control criteria. So should the commission approve the request for a signal, approval should include roadway widening for dedicated left turn lanes on both Cemetery Road and Southwest 29th Street. So because approval of a traffic signal without the inclusion of turn lane improvements won't afford left turning drivers the ability to do so with a protected left turn phase. And beyond that, I'm happy to answer any of the questions you might have on the staff report.
All right, do we have a motion?
I've got a question.
You have a question
again.
first, okay.
On that particular deal, I mean, that's probably one of the fastest developing areas in the city is right out there in that area. So I'm inclined to think that they need a stoplight out there. They're going to need one at some point in time. I just don't know if it's today. What would a 4-way stop do at that particular deal? Because the citizens are just looking for an out just to try to get on, to turn left, turn to get on to Cemetery Road, as opposed to shutting down, just trying to give them an out, a way to get on Cemetery Road without shooting the gap and getting hit at 60 miles an hour.
Okay, so in this particular case, the commission it was included in the request letter. When we take these letters, we'll always write the case up based on the highest form of traffic control that's asked. In this particular case, because the intersection will meet the warrants for traffic control signal, it would also meet warrants for use for considering all-way stop control. If you look at some of the speed breakdowns on this particular roadway, I mean, when we conducted our study, we found that the highest speed we recorded during the time we conducted our study was 69. Of course, the limit out there right now it's 55 on Cemetery Road. All-way stop control is possible to use in a situation like this, but I don't think I would recommend using it, because now you're introducing a stop control situation on a 55-mile-an-hour roadway. And although it has been done, because you can see that at 59th Street, where it runs into the city of Mustang, it's 55. However, at that point in time, traffic control has changed because you are entering another community. This road right here, Cemetery Road, it runs parallel to Mustang Road, and these are kind of the highest speed arterials that we have for making north-south runs along the west side of the city. Even in the supplemental letter that was received, the other person had commented that they didn't believe that 55 was an inappropriate speed for the roadway. So introducing an all-way stop on a high-speed road can introduce other crash potentials. And it's for that reason that we would probably say that the better thing to do is to improve safety, provide safety countermeasures where we can. This is why we're putting in the larger stop signs, improving lighting and refreshing pavement markings, and then putting this project in for, we'll submit it for funding in the upcoming 2025 general obligation bond to have the intersection widened and traffic signal installed, if that's the commission's recommendation. Did I answer your question? Okay.
Okay. Do we have a motion concerning item 5C?
I would like to make a motion to approve item 5C.
Which includes the staff recommendation of the
Correct.
left turn lanes.
Correct.
Okay.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Long and second by Commissioner George. Any other discussion on this? Okay, we have a motion to approve item 5C, which includes staff recommendations of the left turn lanes from Commissioner Long and seconded by Commissioner George. And we're ready to vote. Item is approved. We're all in favor. All right, sir. Okay, we go on now to item 5D, 5E, and 5F. I'm going to read in all three, and then that way you can just talk about the whole area thing. Esther M. Shaw-Smith, traffic signal of South Post Road and Southeast 44th. Traffic signal South Post Road, Southeast 59th Street. And a traffic signal at South Post Road and Southeast 74th Street. Ma'am, if I could have your name and address, you.
Good afternoon. Esther Shaw-Smith with Traffic Engineering Consultants, 6000 Southwestern Oklahoma City. I'm here on behalf of the applicant of the City of Oklahoma City. They're doing a post road widening due to the closing of Douglas Boulevard for expansion of the base. Rerouted traffic through there from Douglas for public access will be rerouted to Post Road. So we have the new traffic that's going to be coming on there here. They're thinking to let this job this year, but we agree with the staff report. We have run the signal warrants for all three intersections, and they all meet the volume warrants. So I'm here to answer any other questions if you need me.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else want to speak on this item? Okay, staff?
Well, you've got our comments before you. I don't really have any further information to add, although I can tell you that the City Council has voted to approve a request for the closure of Douglas Boulevard between 44th Street and 74th Street for the base's future expansion. And the project to improve Post Road and change traffic controls is being put into place to be able to accommodate local area traffic at such time when Douglas is closed.
All right, do we have, we'll go ahead and do one for each at a time. So we'll go ahead and do 5D, which is traffic signal at South Post Road and Southeast 44th Street. Do we have a motion for that?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Hale. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Long. Any discussion on this? Okay, we have a motion to approve 5D from Commissioner Hale, seconded by Commissioner Long. Ready to vote? Item has passed. Would all in favor? We'll go on now to 5E, traffic signal at South Post Road and Southeast 59th Street. Do we have a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Hale. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Long. Any discussion on this? Okay, motion to approve 5E from Commissioner Hale, second by Commissioner Long. And we're ready to vote. Item has passed. Would all in favor? We go on now to item 5F, traffic signal South Post Road and Southeast 74th Street. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hale, second by Commissioner Long. Any discussion on 5F? Okay, motion to approve by Commissioner Hale, seconded by Commissioner Long. Ready to vote? All right, item has passed with all 8 in favor. Thank you very much. And it was nice having your kids here for Take Your Kids to Work Day. No school day. Okay, we go on now to item 5G, Jeffrey Dixon, Crafton Toll, establish reserved angle parking for the physically disabled as listed up on the screen. We have somebody here to speak on this item. Sir, you've already given us your information, so go ahead.
I'm just here to answer any questions regarding that parking space, but I don't have any specific commentary.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, staff?
Okay, you got comments before you. On the particular block of which this the street is a part, there are 42 existing on-street angle parking, structured on-street parking spaces. With the restructuring of the parking spaces along Northwest 9th Street for a garage, that number is going to drop from 42 to 34 spaces. The inclusion of a reserved parking space for the physically disabled would basically bring the block into compliance with respect to the ratios established by under the Americans with Disability Act, because a structured parking block with more than 25 spaces should have at least 2 reserved spaces for the physically disabled. Currently, there's one that's on Hudson Avenue. The addition of this one on 9th Street will basically bring the block into compliance. I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have about the application.
All right, can I have a motion concerning 5G?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Schuline. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner George. Any discussion? Motion to approve 5G from Commissioner Schuline, seconded by Commissioner George. And I think I'm the one. Oh, that's because we went too fast the other 3 times. Okay, it's got to catch up. All right, we'll be standing by. Oh. I was thinking here. Here we go, we're ready to vote. Item has passed with all in favor. Okay, we go on now to item 5H, Timothy Johnson, PE President Johnson Associates, establish reserve angle parking for the physically disabled as listed up on the screen. Yes, sir, come on up, let me have your name and address. You got 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, Caleb Morgan, Johnson Associates, 1 East Sheridan Avenue. This is parking on Hudson Avenue, parallel parking. Currently, there's parallel parking there. And this is restriping and adding an ADA space to bring it up to compliance. We appreciate staff working with us on the layout, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
All right, anybody else on 5H? Okay, staff?
All right, I have nothing else to add. The addition of the reserved space will bring the block into ADA compliance.
Okay, do we have a motion concerning item 5H?
I move the application be approved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Schuline. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wynn. Any discussion on item 5H? Okay, we have a motion to approve 5H from Commissioner Schuline, seconded by Commissioner Wynn. Votes, please. Item has passed with all 8 in favor. Okay, thanks, sir. And now we go to item 5I, the Honorable Missy Wilkinson, the mayor from the town of Jones. Always stop control at Claremore Drive and Northeast 122nd Street. Anybody here to speak on this item? Okay, staff?
All right, you got comments before you. This is a rural outlier intersection. It is bounded by the city of Jones on the south side, Oklahoma City on the north side. There it is on a location on Northeast 122nd Street, where 122nd Street is just a 1 mile long strip of roadway. The request for all-way stop control at Claremar Drive would be a mid-mile stop in this particular location. The representatives from the city, from the town of the city of Jones City are not available for this meeting because that town is closed for President's Day today. I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have on their application.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion concerning a 5I?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner George. Any discussion? Okay, motion to approve 5I from Commissioner Wynn, seconded by Commissioner George, and we're ready to vote. Item has passed with all 8 in favor. Thank you. Okay, comments from citizens? Yeah, we do have a citizen. Well, are you a citizen or an employee?
Yeah, I might be an employee, but got Stuart's permission.
Oh, you got Stuart's permission.
I just wanted to make a quick comment about, so our Vision Zero plan is getting started with the city. We're putting together our board right now. Commissioners Cornett and Wynn have offered to be traffic commissioners on that board, but it's going to city council representatives and a lot of stakeholders. Mr. Chai and Captain Fredrickson will also be serving on that advisory board, kind of helping inform this larger study. As a big kickoff event, I wanted to promote on February 28th, we're having a regional safety summit in partnership with the Association of Central Oklahoma Governments. It'll be at the downtown library from 9 until 2:30. And so we're going to have speakers and breakout sessions and kind of really dive into a lot of safety data. So I encourage anyone who's interested to attend.
Could you say the first part of it again? What is the board panel?
Sure. So we're going to have an advisory board that's going to oversee kind of the planned writing aspect. And then our first big event is going to be this safety summit on February 28th.
Okay, you said plan, write it.
Yeah. We're going to write a Vision Zero plan for the city.
You're going to write a what?
A Vision Zero plan. So vision to zero fatalities. It's kind of, it's the new vogue in traffic engineering. We're one of the reasons we won a federal grant for this is that we were the largest city in the U.S. that didn't have a Vision Zero plan already. And so.
Okay, and the Vision Zero is no injuries, death?
It's trying to get to zero fatalities. Not necessarily collisions, but to zero fatalities.
And that includes?
All modes.
Regular vehicles, buses, transportation, bikes, walkers?
Right, yeah.
How can we make our city safer for all of them? Is that
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
You know, we've looked at some of the preliminary data. We think it's going to come up with a lot of recommendations regarding visibility, especially more than half of our collisions are happening during daylight hours, but most of our fatalities are happening at night, for instance. And so we think we have a lot of visibility issues, high reflective painting, street lighting, a lot of recommendations like that are expected.
Okay, anybody have any other comments on that?
Thanks.
Okay. Nobody else out there? So we'll go ahead and go now to item 7, reports from other traffic commissioners, et cetera, et cetera. Commissioner Varnell?
None for me, thanks.
Commissioner Littlefield?
Belle Isle Walmart might still have some Valentine's candies at 75% off left.
Nice.
All right. So if you missed the first time, you can catch up maybe? Okay, can I go to Commissioner Long?
No, good.
Okay, Commissioner Hale?
Nothing, sir.
Commissioner Schuline?
Nothing, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Wynn?
Nothing, sir.
Commissioner George? No Commissioner Cornett, but I said it anyway, just, I don't want to be in trouble. I don't have anything. So, Captain, do you have anything?
No report from the police department. No, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, Counselor, anything else? Nope. Okay, staff, anything else? Anybody else have anything? All right, we stand adjourned.